Hi guys, I'm going to show you how to replace your rear main seal on the FA20 and get it perfectly straight and set to the right depth without any special tools. So all you really need is your crankshaft position sensor plate, your old seal, your new seal, and your crankshaft, your flywheel bolts. And if you want to measure accurately, you can use some digital calipers. You're going to want some oil or some sort of assembly lube for the new seal. I've already done it here. I've got my new seal in here and set. I'm just going to try to demonstrate without actually redoing this whole process. So first you would pull out your old seal. You can just drill a little hole in there and put a screw in and pull it out with a pair of pliers, or I used a plastic little pry bar so that I wouldn't scratch anything. You definitely don't want to scratch your crankshaft or you won't get a good seal. So once you pull that out, you want to clean out the inside of this area with some paper towels. Then your new seal, you want to oil up the inside of it. I use the Permatex Ultra Slick. You can also put a little bit on the outside of the seal and get it lubed up a little bit so it presses in there a little bit easier. So then next you want to just put it on there by hand. If you try to bang on it and get it in there more, it's probably just going to pop out on the opposite edge. That's the problem I had the first time I tried to do this. So once you have it on there, just sitting on there by hand, you can grab this crankshaft position sensor plate, and you can just bolt that all the way on to push your new seal in there. It's just going to get your seal flush against the back side of, flush within the back side of the crankshaft. You got to watch out for that pin there and make sure you're all lined up when you bolt that down. You're going to have to put some washers on your flywheel bolts here. So I'm not going to redo that whole process, but you'd probably use about 3 of those and it'll get that in there. So now at this point your seal would be about even with the back side of this crankshaft. You still need to get it in further and get it a tiny bit past this this block right here. You want it about 1 millimeter past that. So next you would just take your old seal and you can just pop it right up against the new one, and then basically do the same thing with this plate again. This time you don't need the washers, and I would recommend just using all of the bolts. So you put all of your bolts on there and then tighten it down just a tiny bit. Actually, first you just want to get the bolts finger tight. So get all the bolts finger tight against this plate, and then from there just do about a half turn at a time on every bolt. Pull it back off, measure, see how far you went in. I think I measured that half a turn on each bolt is like 1/3 of a millimeter, and you want this seal recessed into the block about 1 millimeter, not much further than that. I think my stock block, I measured it at about 1.2 or 1.3 millimeters, so that's about where you want it. And you can measure that with your calipers, with the bottom part here. See how that sticks out there. So you can just put that up against the seal, and then the other part against the block, and then get that right around 1 millimeter, and you're good to go.